General Hospital recap for Wednesday, June 4th, shows that Giovanni Gio Palmieri was a pool pusher while Elizabeth Baldwin rejected Lucky Spencer's ring. Sasha Corbin also made a paternity revelation. So here's how Wednesday's GH episode went down. After bringing Jack Brennan to her office, Anna Devane grilled him about Professor Henry Hank Dalton and recapped all the lab drama that happened in California. Anna talked about Professor Dalton focused on cold fusion and feared that he was working on something hazardous. However, Brennan played ignorant about Brennan and acted like Anna was simply being an overprotective grandmother. Once Brennan left, Anna exposed the truth to Felicia Scorpio, who felt Anna was overcompensating with Emma Scorpio Drake because she lost out on time with Robin Scorpio Drake. Even yet, Anna definitely thought she was onto something when it came to her worries about Professor Dalton. At the Metro Court pool, Gio was dressed as a lifeguard when he bumped across Emma, so he explained his summer work. There was also some debate regarding Joe's run-in with Brooklyn Quartermain, Lois Cerullo and Gloria Cerullo at the Quartermain mansion. Gio stated Sonny Corinthos was the one family member he trusted, however he was having concerns owing to Sonny's presence close. Sonny caught up with Laura Collins by the pool, so Gio questioned him and wondered if his grandfather was keeping tabs on him now. Laura assured Gio that it was her decision to meet Sonny there, and thanked Gio for his support when Rocco Falconeri got alcohol poisoning. Later, Ezra Boyle popped in and used his phone to livestream Laura's encounter with Sonny the mob leader. After Ezra got all arrogant and taunted Laura, Gio purposefully gave him a nudge into the water, though he pretended it was an accident. Laura and Sonny were both amused at Joe's move. Meanwhile, Professor Dalton approached Emma and hoped there were no hard feelings over her missing out on the research assistant position. Emma played up how jealous she was now that Jocelyn Jacks was working with Dalton instead. Emma had another possible position set up at a cosmetics lab this summer, but she knew it wouldn't be the same as working for Professor Dalton. After Emma hinted about meeting together sometime, Professor Dalton told her that his door was always open. There was a flirtatious vibe throughout the whole chat since Emma was definitely trying to utilize Dalton's desire to her advantage. When Emma discovered Dalton was still staring at her from a distance later, she discarded her swimsuit cover-up to offer him a better view. Vaughn spied on Emma and Dalton's conversation while seated at a table nearby, but Brennan ultimately summoned him away. In Brennan's office, he gave Vaughn updates on Anna's suspicions regarding Dalton. Brennan pointed out that they wanted Professor Dalton to continue his research so that the WSB could get their hands on the tech. Jocelyn Jacks was too green to go up against a seasoned former WSB agent, so Vaughn vowed to handle Anna instead. In the park, Lucky surprised Elizabeth with a romantic table for two once she had her cast off. After dining and sharing a dance, Lucky pulled out the engagement ring and ultimately delivered a marriage proposal. Liz grew upset and said she loved Lucky, but her response was no. At Lulu Spencer's house, Brooklyn knocked on the door and ripped into Lulu once she opened up. According to Brooklyn, Lulu explored subjects she had no business examining and was responsible for Gio finding out the truth in the worst way conceivable. Although Lulu was sad for what Gio was going through, she defended the truth coming out and wondered whether Brooklyn really didn't want to know it was her son. Brooklyn claimed she would have rather kept in the dark if it meant sparing Gio this grief. Now that Gio was pushing everyone away, Brooklyn lashed out and wished Lulu would have gone to her after she discovered out the real story. Since Brooklyn felt that Lulu had always sought to wreck her life, she insisted Lulu was finally succeeding at it. In the courtroom, Jocelyn Jacks recalled how at the nurses' ball, Willow Corinthos declared nothing was more important than being with Drew Kane. Willow stood up and fiercely urged Jocelyn to spill the rest since that comment was taken out of context. Jocelyn continued to make Willow and Drew look terrible since she talked about Drew barging in with threats about Michael Corinthos losing his kids. Michael got on the stand next and talked about Willow's cult upbringing having a deeper influence on her than he imagined. Willow was bowing to Drew's will like she'd done with Shiloh Archer in the past. There was also mention about Willow withholding the news of her leukemia diagnosis, thus Michael believed that she was a terribly damaged person. However, Rick brought up the dangerous environment Michael had grown up in since he got shot because of Sonny, and more recently Michael had been terribly burned because of Sonny too. Rick also underlined the fact that vengeful Michael sought custody of Avery Corinthos and rehashed Michael's previous criminal history. Next, Diane once again brought up Willow bringing Wiley Corinthos and Amelia Corinthos out of state without alerting Michael. After Diane mentioned Willow making Drew the kid's legal guardian if something happened to her, Michael acknowledged he wasn't told of it either. Michael said that he talked to the children on the phone because of Christina Corinthos Davis, and that Willow had made no effort to reach out. Diane displayed images of Drew doing body shots off Jacinda, and played the nursery video as proof of Willow's adultery. Afterward, Nina testified about what a terrific mom Willow was, and felt Michael was punishing her for falling out of love with him. Once it was Sasha's time, Rick got her talking about her romance with Michael that ended in 2021. Then, Rick questioned about the last time Sasha and Michael slept together. Sasha felt confused when Rick interrogated her about that night at Brown Dog Bar, so she admitted to slamming back drinks and fleeing with Michael. Rick kept pushing until Sasha was ultimately forced to say she slept with Michael, and that he was the father of her kid. General Hospital spoilers indicate Sasha's confession will cause more courtroom mayhem, so stay tuned. The discovery that Sasha has revealed Michael as the father of her baby sends ripples across their social circle, provoking discussions, whispers, and judgments. Such a remark is never made lightly. It bears emotional weight, legal repercussions, and personal consequences for everyone concerned. When someone publicly declares paternity, especially in a circumstance where there may be uncertainty or controversy, the dynamics between the individuals shift radically. Relationships are tested, trust is either reinforced or shattered, and the lives of all parties, most notably the child, are forever transformed. For Sasha to openly state that Michael is the father shows a level of assurance, whether based on personal knowledge, emotional conviction, or possibly even legal guidance. However, in situations of paternity, nothing is ever as easy as an accusation or a statement. Biology, emotions, and legal duties intersect in intricate ways, and Michael's attitude to this allegation will determine the following stages. Does he accept responsibility without question? Does he require a paternity test to confirm? Or does he explicitly deny it, leading to a potential feud? Each viable response involves its own set of challenges. If Michael accepts Sasha's claim, the two must next manage co-parenting, assuming they are not in a personal relationship. Co-parenting needs discussion, compromise, and a shared commitment to the child's well-being. Even in the finest conditions, parenting a child with someone you may no longer be associated with romantically is tough. There are financial duties, custody arrangements, and emotional difficulties to surmount. If Michael and Sasha have a poor relationship, the added stress of a kid could either compel them to overcome their disagreements or push them further apart. On the other hand, if Michael challenges the assertion, the situation becomes much more explosive. A paternity test would be the most basic way to address the problem, but even that is not without its complications. If the test reveals Michael is the father, he must then face with the reality of his new job, whether he was prepared for it or not. If the test indicates he is not the father, Sasha's trustworthiness comes into question. Why would she name him if there was doubt? Was it an honest error? Or was there an ulterior motivation, such as financial support or emotional manipulation? Beyond the immediate participants, the family and friends of both Sasha and Michael are eventually drawn into the drama. Parents may take sides, friends may provide support or criticism, and social media can accentuate the situation, turning a private concern into public spectacle. The court of public opinion is typically brutal, and if paternity is questioned in a public forum, reputations can be destroyed regardless of the final decision. Then there is the child, the most innocent party in all of this. A baby born into a paternity dispute faces an uncertain future. Will kids grow up with a father present in their life? Or will they only know him through legal fights and difficult visits? Even if Michael is proven to be the father, his level of involvement is not certain. Some men step up freely, embracing fatherhood despite unexpected circumstances, while others resist, either owing to personal unwillingness or external constraints. The emotional toll on a child who grows up perceiving anxiety about their parentage can be severe, damaging their self-esteem, relationships, and sense of identity. Financially, the stakes are high. Child support laws differ, but if Michael is legally determined to be the father, he may be compelled to contribute financially until the child reaches adulthood. For some guys, this is a legitimate expectation, For others, it might feel like an unjust burden, particularly if they were not preparing for fatherhood. Conversely, if Sasha is a single mother without Michael's support, she may endure financial pressure, relying on government assistance or family help to raise the child. The economic ramifications of fatherhood extend far beyond the acute emotions of the event. Socially, the way others regard Sasha and Michael will transform. If Michael recognizes paternity, some may admire him for taking responsibility, while others may condemn him for the circumstances that led to an unwanted pregnancy. If he rejects it and is later proven false, he may be considered as someone who tries to dodge his duty. Similarly, Sasha may be perceived compassionately as a woman standing by her truth or judgmentally, as someone who may have wrongly accused a man. Society's double standards often come into play. Women are sometimes chastised for unexpected pregnancies, while men are sometimes pardoned for avoiding responsibility. Legally, if Michael refuses to recognize fatherhood willingly, Sasha may have to take the matter to court. Family court trials may be lengthy, expensive, and emotionally demanding. DNA testing is the gold standard in such disputes, but even with scientific evidence, judicial fights for custody and support can stretch on for years. Some fathers strive for shared custody, while others may just be concerned with limiting financial burdens. Mothers, meantime, may struggle to show their case if the father is unwilling. The judicial system is supposed to safeguard the child's best interests, but the process can be contentious, leaving both parents resentful. Emotionally, both Sasha and Michael will face a roller coaster. For Sasha, pregnancy itself is a sensitive time. Hormonal changes, physical demands, and the anticipation of parenthood are stressful even in stable conditions. Adding a paternity dispute can make her feel alone or defensive. If she sincerely feels Michael is the father, his denial may feel like a betrayal. For Michael, being named as a parent unexpectedly can elicit panic, rage, or perplexity. If he had no prior idea that Sasha was pregnant, or if he thinks the child is his, the charge can upend his life. Even if he subsequently accepts the role, the initial shock can restrict his capacity to bond with the child. The broader ramifications of paternity disputes touch on societal issues such as trust between partners, accountability in relationships, and the expectations placed on men and women when it comes to parenting. In a day where DNA testing is routinely accessible, more people are questioning paternity, leading to both resolved problems and rising difficulties. Some say that obligatory paternity testing at birth could eradicate doubt, while others believe it would weaken trust in partnerships. In the end, Sasha's statement that Michael is the baby's father is just the beginning of a much greater story. Whether this leads to a united co-parenting effort, a harsh court struggle, or something in between depends on the choices both persons make in the coming months. The youngster at the center of it all will one day grow up and construct their own understanding of these occurrences. How Sasha and Michael manage the issue today will determine not just their destiny, but also the life of an innocent child who needs love, stability, and truth. Sasha is continuing on the stand, being probed about her relationship with Michael and the kid they conceived. Rick asks Sasha how much Michael paid her to keep silent about the baby, never noticing that the witness is plainly in agony. As Rick's queries become more probing, Sasha's suffering plainly intensifies. Suddenly, she clutches her tummy and goes into full-blown labor. Sasha freaks out, insisting she can't lose the baby as she did Liam. Willow approaches and suggests that she help. Paramedics aren't going to get there in time, and even when they do arrive, it turns out they can't go into the building because a demonstration is taking place outside. With Willow's support, Sasha is able to birth a healthy baby girl. Cradling both Sasha and the infant, Michael locks eyes with Willow and mouths a sincere thank you. As Willow is in labor, Nina approaches Rick. She yells that she gave him all the info he needed to reveal Michael's infidelity, but he didn't need to implicate the baby. At that time, Carly, having overheard, storms over and puts Nina on blast. "It was you," she shouts. "You're the reason Rick found out about the baby." Things swiftly escalate, with the women and Drew flinging accusations at one another. Drew says he and Willow are going to be together and happy, adding that Carly needs to accept it. Fed up, Carly says she's not the only one who doesn't want to see them together. "I know for a fact," shouts Carly, "that Nina is the one who hired Jacinda and had you drugged." Lucky gets off his knee, closes the ring box and asks Liz if she's rejecting his proposal for now or for good. He concedes the proposal may have been premature, but says he will prove he's in it for the long run. Will that really make you happy? She asks, admitting she's loved him from the start but knows what will and won't satisfy him. If there's one thing I know about you, Lucky Spencer, it's that here is too small of a place for you, and the last thing I want is for you to live an unfulfilled life just so you can prove yourself to me. Lucky realizes that Port Charles isn't his home anymore, and that remaining there full-time won't fulfill him. He hopes he could be the kind of person who'd be content to stay, but he's not. His face lighting up, Lucky recommends she travel with him and they can see the world together. But she reminds him she has family, friends and a profession in Port Charles. This is where her life is. Leaving would make her as miserable as Lucky would be if he stayed. Ultimately, they agree that they will always love one another, but that he needs to go on. He wonders how he'll tell Aiden that he's leaving again, but Liz says she has an idea about that. Joss recounts what she knows to Brennan, who wants her to keep close to Dalton. He offers her a gadget to clone Dalton's calls and advises that she can't catch Anna's notice, or it will expose her secret. Meanwhile, Anna takes a meeting with Jason to plead for his help. Knowing where his allegiance lie, she points out that he would be supporting not only her but Carly too. Upon hearing that Joss is working for Dalton, Jason instantly offers to investigate the individual. Anna catches Jason up on Emma's engagement with Dalton, including the young woman's arrest at Berkeley. She also indicates that Brennan is trying to throw her off Dalton's scent. But if his work attracts the attention of the WSB, it has to be dangerous, which means Joss is in threat. Anna says she can't immediately investigate because the WSB is monitoring. So I need you to look into Dalton for me, she says, urging that he not address the guy directly. Things are strained between Portia and Curtis, who are sleeping in separate bedrooms, but they put on smiles when Kai and Trina arrive for a party to celebrate a visiting Marshal. Hat Daddy has been on tour with Wynton Marsalis and is in town for a single night. Trina and Kai reveal they can't wait for the documentary to be over. When Drew's name comes up, Curtis and Portia tense up. Alone with Curtis, Marshall worries about Kai's tie to Drew. Alone with Trina, Marshall lends his seal of approval to her new romance. But at that point, Kai accidentally overhears Curtis and Portia's fight, along with Curtis' plot to seek down Jacinda and pay her to declare that Drew hired her for sex and took the ketamine on purpose. Sunny talks with Maxie at the Metro Court pool, hoping to convince her that Deception should dump Sidwell. But she reminds him that Deception is doing so well because of the zincite that they're getting from Sidwell. Excusing herself, she catches up with Lucas, and they watch as Natalia, who is drinking like a fish, clashes with Marco. He wanted her to be polite to Lucas, whom she brushed off, while she wants him to persuade Blaze into forgiving her. Marco advises Natalia leave him and his sister alone. He offers her go get drunk somewhere else. Natalie sits with Sunny, who tries to offer her comfort and believes one day Marco will come around and realize he needs his mom. Why are you being so nice? She asks. He offers her additional advice, after which she contacts Sidwell, stating he owes her, and she's coming to collect. Instead, however, she finds up being arrested for DUI. According to General Hospital spoilers, at least 4 June surprises are on the way, which means that certain romantic storylines will heat up. Viewers will see numerous duos get closer, so let's speak about what happens next for these individuals who are falling hard. Carly Spencer took some time to properly open her heart to Jack Brennan, but now she's fully committed. Carly cares deeply for Brennan and believes in him, despite the skeptics. Of course, this is a mistake because Brennan is holding secrets, particularly regarding Jocelyn Jack's WSB recruitment. Nonetheless, Carly will remain unaware of this information for the time being, and will shortly make a romantic effort for Brennan. According to GH spoilers, Carly's present for Brennan will arrive in June, so anything she presents should have an impact on him. Brennan will be determined to maintain his relationship with Carly, but this may get increasingly difficult as Jocelyn's objective becomes more complex. Jocelyn's goal is becoming more challenging, which will have an impact on her relationship with Vaughn. Fans can tell Vaughn and Jocelyn have chemistry, which will lead to some enticing moments as they go into some tight situations together. Jocelyn and Vaughn will become quite close, and they may kiss or perhaps hit the sheets as the quest goes. Mixing business and pleasure is frequently a recipe for disaster, and Vaughn and Jocelyn may be no exception. Cody Bell and Molly Lansing Davis will have an unexpected encounter that moves their love ahead. A chance Metro Court meeting will allow Molly and Cody to get to know one another even better. The more time Cody and Molly spend opening up to each other, the faster they can get the show on the road with the romance that is clearly forming. Could Molly and Cody get in bed together before June ends? Kai Taylor is on cloud 9 after his treatment was successful, and he recently made love with Trina Robinson for the first time. However, everything seems a little too good to be true. The show appears to be preparing Kai for a collapse by having Trina console him when terrible news arrives. Trina is preparing for a crisis with Kai, because he may experience a surgery-related setback after all. Kai may try to drive Trina away, but you can guarantee she will fight for him, no matter what hurdles arise. According to General Hospital spoilers, several love twists and turns are still in the works, so stay tuned for more information on these and other characters. Romance in Port Charles is always fraught with complexities, and as June 4th approaches, the atmosphere is rich with tension, desire, and secrets about to burst. The heat isn't just in the air. It's in the glances exchanged, the unresolved feelings that linger in the room, and the decisions the characters must make. With 4 love tales twisting in unforeseen directions, the calm before the storm has ended. What happens next could change everything. Michael and Willow sat together in a quiet area of the Metro Court, seeming to be enjoying their meal. The sun shines in through the tall windows, and their talk revolves around safe themes like Wiley, work, and the nurse's ball. But it's a thin veneer. Underneath, both of them feel the weight of Nina's newest stunt, and the devastation it has caused. Willow can't stop thinking about Michael's face when he told her what Nina said. An ultimatum disguised as a plea. And Michael? He's exhausted. I'm tired of the manipulation. I'm tired of pretending Nina's concept of tranquility is real. He reaches for Willow's hand, and she allows him to grasp it, but the quiet between them speaks more than words. She wants to trust Nina, needs to, in some ways, but whenever she tries, the ground underneath her moves. Michael, for all his calm and reasoning, is keeping something back. Something he has not told her yet. That item is what he discussed with Ned and Tracy the day before. About leverage. About borders. About safeguarding their family from the long-term harm Nina could cause if she is left unchecked. Michael has more power than Willow understands, and he has already decided how to use it. But he hasn't told her because he is concerned that if she notices how calculated he has become, she will begin to question whether he is changing into someone else. Someone she does not recognize. Meanwhile, only a few tables away, another complicated relationship lurks in the shadows. Dex and Jocelyn, wrapped up in their usual mix of rage and frustration. She's annoyed because he's been distant all week, ever since Sonny called him back in for another of his covert operations. She despises this aspect of their relationship. The quiet, the unpredictability, the feeling that she is constantly fighting with a world she does not belong to. Dex tries to explain without actually saying anything. He assures her that it is not harmful, just logistics, loose endings. But she can see it in his eyes. Restlessness, remorse, and an inability to meet her gaze. They argue quietly at first, then loudly. Joss accuses him of being like every other man who claimed to be different. Dex responds, informing her that she knew what he was when she fell for him. He's not a college boyfriend with secure plans and a 9-to-5 future. He is a soldier, a loyalist. And Sonny continues to hold his leash, no matter how badly he wishes otherwise. Jocelyn, hurt, jumps up quickly and prepares to leave, but Dex grabs her wrist. He draws her back down, softer and more honest. He tells her he is trying. He wants a way out. That he has spoken with someone who may be able to assist him in permanently leaving that world. But he isn't ready yet. Not until he is certain she will still be present when it is over. This causes her pause. She examines his face, noting the flaws in the armor and his despair. Perhaps there is yet hope for them. Perhaps not. But for now she remains seated. In Port Charles, Trina stands alone in the gallery, staring at one of her most recent images. The gallery is quiet, closed for the day, but she needed time to reflect. She and Spencer have been discussing the same concerns for weeks. His relentless urge to mend things and protect others around him frequently makes her feel like an afterthought. She knows he adores her. She understands he means well. But love means little if it is always overwhelmed by disorder. And chaos appears to follow Spencer like a shadow. The door quietly opens, and she recognizes him before turning around. Spencer's presence is like a storm coming in, charged and hefty. He walks up alongside her and also looks at the photograph. It's a candid photo of a street performer in Paris, taken during a solo trip she took following one of their numerous breakups. She feels the recollection pressing in, intense and bittersweet. He says very little at first. Just stands there, hands in his pockets trying to find out where to start. When he eventually speaks, he does it with quiet humility, which surprises her. "I'm sorry. I thought I could fix everything, including Esme, Ace, and the Cassadine situation, and still hold on to you. But I understand it's not fair." She nods slowly. It's the first time she's felt he truly sees her in weeks. "I love you, Spencer," she confesses. "But I can't be your refuge if you continue to make every aspect of our lives into a battleground. I need some peace. And you have to desire it, not just claim you do." Spencer nods and reaches for her hand. She does not draw away. Not yet. Perhaps this is the turning point. Perhaps it's just another stillness before the storm. But for the first time in a long time, they're communicating in the same language. On the other side of town, in a very different environment, Ava sits on the edge of her penthouse balcony, sipping wine and watching the city light up beneath her. She's waiting. Not for phone calls or visitors. For him. Nicholas. She's been assured that he's alive. She has heard the voices. And now she can feel it in her bones. He'll eventually make his move. Her thoughts turn to Austin, the man who previously appeared like a wild card, but is now a ghost she's not sure how to feel about. His demise generated more questions than answers. Nonetheless, her heart remains entwined in memories she can't quite untangle. Then there's Sonny, always close and deadly. He knows more than he admits. It always has. But even he seems out of sync lately, distracted by something Ava can't quite place. When the doorbell eventually rings, she does not move. She already knows it isn't the doorman or a neighbor. She moves deliberately to the door, sets down her drink and opens it. That's him. Nicholas. Alive. His skin is paler and thinner than she remembers, but his eyes remain the same. Haunted, brimming with secrets. Ava does not speak. Neither does he. They stay silent for a long time before he adds, "I didn't come to fight." She narrows her eyes. "So why did you come?" He enters without asking for permission, and Ava does not stop him. She's too astonished to process everything. He paces for a bit, raking his hand through his hair, before returning to her. "I came to explain everything. And to see whether there's anything left between us that's worth rescuing." Ava laughs, but there is no humor about it. "You've disappeared. You left me for dead, Nicholas. What might be left?" Even as she speaks, her voice cracks. She hates the fact that a part of her still feels something. That portion of her is still seeking answers. Still wants him. Nicholas moves closer. "Let me tell you the truth. Then make a decision." The door closes behind them. Whatever happens next will not be straightforward. It is never with them. Back in Metro Court, as the night falls, more pieces of the puzzle change. Valentine sits at the bar, nursing a drink while staring blankly at his phone. He has been avoiding Anna for days, ever since his falsehoods began to press in on him. She knows. She doesn't have proof yet, but she knows. And he can feel it slipping away, the fragile trust that they worked so hard to restore. He considers texting her. Only a few words. A warning. An apology. Something. But he does not. Instead, he finishes his drink and requests another. There's a storm approaching, and he knows he might not be able to outrun it. Finn travels down the hospital hallway, looking into exam rooms and avoiding Elizabeth's floor. Their relationship, if it can be called that, is on thin ice. His relapse, instability with his father, and Violet's anxieties are all too much. And Liz? She's tired of carrying the weight of his mess. They have chatted. They have tried. But love is insufficient when trust is lost. Finn is currently distrustful of himself. Liz and Portia sit in the nurse's lounge, sipping lukewarm coffee. She's silent and pensive. Do you still love him? Portia asks. Liz does not respond right away. I do. But I'm not sure if I can keep doing this. I feel as if I am waiting for the next error. The next apology. Portia nods. You can't fix someone who doesn't want to heal. Liz glances away. Perhaps that is the truth she has been avoiding. As the night deepens in Port Charles, the lovely scene becomes increasingly turbulent. Old flames resurface. New betrayals take root. In the midst of it all, people are deciding whether to fight, forgive, or run. Nobody knows what the next morning will bring. But one thing is certain. These narratives are far from finished. And in this town, love is never free.